This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel. And remember, if you've got an immigration problem, I can help. Please get in touch for honest advice and I'll do my best to help you. Today's video is a further update on the Home Office's concessions in response to the coronavirus pandemic. I've done a series of videos on this previously, but there are some changes, quite important changes, that have come into effect on the 1st of November. The bad news is, whilst there are still a number of concessions that will help you, the Home Office are cracking down now, perhaps not to be expected, and expect people to either leave the United Kingdom or make an application to regularise their status. There are lots of different types of concessions and guidance, and this is just a summary of some of the more important changes. If you want to, you can look at my earlier videos for more details. The first piece of news that I thought I'd like to talk to you about is that you are still able to apply for exception assurance if you're unable to travel back to your home country because of COVID restrictions or the difficulties in travelling there. We can help you apply for exception assurance if your visa is expiring and you cannot get back to your home country. The flip side to this, of course, and there is always a flip side when it comes to the Home Office, is that lots of countries are opening their borders, and it won't be possible to get an exception assurance anymore if your country is allowing people to come back in, and if you've got no evidence that they won't accept you. If this is the case, it is essential that you get in touch to discuss regularising your status. The Home Office will not entertain excuses about COVID to the same extent as they did before, and we've seen a number of cases where the Home Office are ramping up the hostile environment again. So if you're looking to make an application for exception assurance, you will need to provide a lot of evidence, and we can help with that. If, on the other hand, you're planning to make an application for a visa, there are plenty of other changes which will affect the usual requirements, and I'm going to list a few of these to hopefully outline them. If you were granted an entry clearance visa and couldn't enter the UK during your 30 or 90-day window allowed by your visa, you do not have to leave the UK to apply for an extension of your visa. If your leave expired between the 24th of January and the 31st of August 2020, but you couldn't leave during the UK because of the lockdown, you will not face any adverse immigration consequences, and this period can count towards your indefinite leave to remain. But you still have to make arrangements to regularise your stay. You can't expect nothing bad to happen if your visa expired last spring. You've got to show that you've been proactive, and we can help you in that. The requirements of Tier 1 entrepreneur visas have been relaxed. They remain relaxed. You no longer need to employ 2 people for 12 consecutive months, and the time that your employees were furloughed will count towards their 12-month period. So that's an important concession they've maintained. Next is in relation to indefinite leave to remain. Normally, if you have ILR and you've been outside the country for more than 2 years, your ILR can lapse. However, if you've been outside the UK because of the coronavirus restrictions and your ILR lapsed before 24th of January 2020, you can apply under the returning resident visa without the same level of difficulties. When it comes to applying for leave to remain on the basis of family or private life, the concessions in relation to the minimum income requirements still apply. That means that if you've been furloughed, they'll take into account your full amount, and the Home Office are generally being more relaxed about the need to obtain certain documents if it is impossible to do so because of the lockdown. You'll recall that normally the Home Office require you to provide specified documents, and if you don't put one of them in, the application will be refused. That's been slightly relaxed, which is good news. In summary then, whilst a lot of the concessions do exist, they mainly apply to the period of the first lockdown in 2020. It may be that these apply to you, but it is imperative that you apply as soon as possible so that we can help you. On the positive note, and there are a couple of positive notes, if you've applied to remain as a Tier 4 student and you haven't got a response yet, you can start your course and you can work as part, or study rather, and if your visa permits, you can work whilst the application is pending. If it's refused, then obviously that will be the end of your visa. If you've applied for a healthcare visa, i.e. working within the healthcare sector, perhaps unsurprisingly you can start work even if your visa hasn't been approved. This used to extend to all Tier 2 migrants, but now it's been cut back to healthcare workers. So that's an important point that needs to be considered. Now, moving on from that, slightly to the positive and negative, the Home Office for NHS workers will allow an extension of 12 months to your visa. However, prior to the 30th of September, you could get your extension for you and your dependents, and you wouldn't have to pay the Home Office fee. Now, you may be entitled to a year's extension, but you will have to pay the Home Office fee, which is another sign of the Home Office clamping down on all of this. In short, the concessions are getting less. This is due to the borders of being opening and people being able to travel, and the restrictions are coming back. So the coronavirus concessions are gradually being whittled down back to the immigration rules. And we all know how hostile and difficult the immigration rules are. So in short, if you want to stay in the United Kingdom and you can't leave, and you want to apply for an exception assurance or an extension of your exception assurance, because you do need to apply for an extension, then I can help. If you're on exception assurance, that will count as if you've got leave, and we can help regularise your status. If you have any other type of immigration problem, or you want any other type of immigration help, then please just get in touch with me, and then I'll just do my level best to help you, as I have done with a great number of other people. Thank you very much for watching. This is Paul Turner, the Immigration Barrister at Imperium Chambers.